folks. Welcome to Walking on the Weene Side, part of It Matters Radio. And today I have with me the wonderful host of It Matters Radio, Monica Brinkman. And our very special guest this evening is El-Sharieff Kirkman, also known as Captain. And in case you didn't get the Star Trek there, so Captain Kirkman. But I love your first name. It's a very distinctive name. I believe it's from an Arabic background.
That is correct. It means the honest.
The honest. So you're going to be totally honest with us today.
Yes.
Now, the other thing about Captain is that he comes from, were you born in Binghamton or do you just live there now?
I went up to Binghamton to go to school, but I'm originally from New York City.
Okay. So he lives in Binghamton, New York, which is, he has just told Monica and myself, is the home of the Twilight Zone.
Rod Sterling.
Rod Sterling.
So here we have a man who's going to tell us the truth from the Twilight Zone. Can we beat this?
That's a conflict. I don't know. That's too funny.
So, Captain, you grew up, you started life in what part of New York City?
Brooklyn, New York. Brownsville, Brooklyn, New York.
Brooklyn?
Brownsville.
You want to hear something real interesting? A movie was shot right in front of my building, a big-time movie with big-time stars. It's called Brooklyn's Finest with Don Cheadle.
Okay.
That was literally right in front of my building, and part of it was shot in my building. Like one of the windows that they was looking at, I walked through. I have friends on that floor that they was like shooting some of the scenes at, so it was pretty interesting.
Now, what age were you when that movie was made, or is this before you were born?
No. This is Brooklyn's Finest came out about 7-8 years ago. It's pretty recent. It came out around 2010. So it came out around the time that my first book was released. So I wasn't in New York City at the time, but like family and friends are saying, hey, they're shooting a movie right in front of our house. It's like there's a whole lot of big Hollywood crew here. I thought they was joking. So I'm thinking, okay, this is probably just somebody with cameras out there. But when I seen Brooklyn's Finest and I'm staring at the movie screen, I'm like, hold on, that's my building.
But they didn't get you to come down and do a walk-on or anything. How come?
I didn't believe them. I thought it, like when friends and family was telling me that they were shooting it there. Usually, like when people pull out a camera, like an expensive camera, people think it's always a movie when it may just be a news reporter just doing a brief story. So I couldn't really take it seriously, but I wish I did.
Yeah, that would have been exciting, huh?
Yeah. I love Don Cheadle. He's one of my favorite actors.
Yeah. So you went from Brooklyn up to Binghamton. Now, Binghamton, you went to school there, I assume, at SUNY Binghamton?
Correct.
Yeah. And that's a pretty big jump. That area of Brooklyn you grew up in is a pretty rough area.
Correct.
So how did you get your act together and make it, well, to a pretty gosh darn good university and all? Not a lot of kids probably did from your school.
The way that I made it out is two ways. First, it was through football, and I was a natural writer. So those were my two avenues out of the area that I was in. I could give you the long version or I could give you the short version, whichever story you want.
Well, whichever one is more fun to hear. But
can we find out a little bit about what a lot of people have no clue what it's like growing up in the area that you did and what you put up with.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that's what it was poverty. I mean, there were times that you were homeless, correct?
Correct. My oldest memories as a kid is being homeless. Like, I have extremely disturbing, and I'm not going to get into them vivid memories as a kid being homeless. I'm going to keep it PG-13.
Okay.
We're an adult state program, so feel free.
Okay. When I was a kid, like my oldest memories when I was 3 or 4 years old is being in a homeless shelter. But the homeless shelter that I was in, I could give you a scene from a movie that it was similar to it to give you like to better visualize it, so the audience could better visualize it. And Revenge of the Nerds Part 1, you see the scene where they're all in an auditorium and they're all sleeping on mattresses at the beginning of the movie, about the first 15 or 20 minutes of Revenge of the Nerds, and they're
Revenge of the Nerds, right? Yeah.
Yeah, and there's a bunch of mattresses and they're in the middle of an auditorium.
Mm-hmm.
In New York City, when in the 80s, when I was growing up as I was a little kid, the homeless shelters were overcrowded. So they found gymnasiums, like beat up gymnasiums that was not being used. And with the gymnasiums they filled it up with like mattresses, just like Revenge of the Nerds. And so that became one of the homeless shelters that we started in. So my oldest memories is being in there, waking up in the middle of the night, and having to walk through like a few hundred people as a little kid while everybody was sleeping, going to these nasty bathrooms, roach and rat filled bathrooms. So that was me as a little kid, my oldest memory. Now, now going a little fast forward to that, the areas that I lived in, say in that Brownsville, Brooklyn area, it was extremely rough. One of the memories that still haunts me to this day is when I was like 12 years old and somebody got killed in a building right across from mine, and it was the brother of a friend of mine. And the thing is, like, it was on the news, it was on national news, it was a big thing. And then his brother got killed in the morning, and later that night, because somebody came back and killed his father.
Oh my word!
So, and the thing is about that area, the kids in that area were so what's the word I'm looking for? It got to a point where kids that's under 13 were so used to the drama, the tragedies, that when they seen the aftermath and say blood on the ground days later when no one came to clean it up, people would just step over it like it was a puddle of water.
So they were numb to all this because they saw it all the time.
Yeah, I never forget, like little girls like stepping over it, like little girls 8, 9, 10 years old stepping over it like it was a puddle of water, like no one came to clean the mess up. And I'm thinking about, like, things like that happened around me a lot as a little kid in the areas that I grew up in. Now, the way that
I have to interrupt you for a sec here, if I may, and just ask, because I noticed as you were talking that you seem to have a cast on your left hand.
Yeah.
And I think the audience is going to be looking at that and saying, well, geez, what's going on with him? So let me interrupt you just for one quick sec to ask.
Oh yeah, this right here is just an injury that I had on a part-time job that I had. Fell down, tore a few things, and had surgery, and now I'm in the healing process.
Okay.
Well, at least you're in the healing
wanted
process.
To reassure our audience that you're okay. Now, getting back to that homeless shelter, you said we. Who were we? How many? What was your family at that point?
It was me. I'm one of 9 children, but at the time in that homeless shelter, it was just 4 of us. Excuse me, 5 of us. It was let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it was my mother and 5. No, yeah, I was the youngest at that time.
Okay, and your mom it was just your mom. She had 5 kids, and she was a single mom.
So she's a single mom, but it was her and 4 of us. So I was at the bottom, and I got 5 younger brothers and sisters. So I was number 4. So I was
so it was the 5 of you, but it was your mom, and she was
at that time.
Wow. So
Right.
I have to. What is your mother like that she is that strong? What gives her that strength?
I would say my grandmother. She just passed away like around 6 7 months ago. Rest in peace. But she's extremely strong. So it came from my grandmother.
Uh-huh. Was she like the matriarch of the family, as
My
they say?
grandmother.
Your
Yeah,
grandmom?
yeah. She was like the moral compass.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So what happened now? What happened to your dad that he was not in the picture?
My dad got caught up in the what is it, the crack epidemic.
Mm-hmm.
He was one of the victims.
Oh my. So he died as a result, or was in prison?
No, like him and my mother separated and got a divorce when I was 7 years old. Because my mother, yeah, him and my mother got into argument. She caught him with another woman. They broke up. But he was already so far was a victim of the crack epidemic that he was so far caught up in it.
Which happened a lot, especially in the 80s and
oh yeah.
Yeah. It was crazy.
I was living in the New York area then. I was out on Long Island. Oh yeah, going into the city, and especially going around. If I was out in Brooklyn, it was parts of Manhattan to the Bronx. It was pretty rough stuff going on. Wow. Yeah. So, but you managed. An awful lot of your neighbors, well, some of them obviously got killed, some of the kids who grew up, but a lot of them, I would guess, ended up on drugs. A lot of them ended up in jail. A lot of them ended up kind of wasting, dropping out of school and all. You rose above that. Now, obviously, we're going to give a lot of credit to that, to your grandmother, and some to your mom. And we'll give you some too, but what were some of the things that helped you make it through? You mentioned football. Tell us a little about that.
Football was, and I think football will, and always be was my first love.
And here I thought it was Monica.
I know it. I'm crushed now.
It's an imaginary heart I'm sending to you, Monica.
Football was your great love, huh?
Yeah. What football allowed me to do it allowed me to take like I'm a natural fighter. So like up into the age to the 5th grade, up until that time, I had been getting into a lot of fights. Mm-hmm. But like when I started to really deeply fall in love with football, it was around the 5th grade. So what one of my coaches did around that time, like when I started to deeply get into love for football, one of my coaches showed me that I can channel that whatever emotion I'm feeling, from living in poverty to being so poor that I had to wear my grandmother's and my sisters and my brother's clothes. So because I used to get teased and picked on for that, and I was a quiet kid, but I was one of them quiet kids where they used to call me Quiet Storm, because I was quiet. I kept to myself. I did my work, easy to get along. But from the outside looking in, I was the kid to pick on. But once from the inside looking out, I was sending a signal like, it's not what you seem. Don't pick on me, because this kid fights twice as hard as the biggest bully. Though I don't, just leave me alone and let me do my work and get through school. I got a hard enough time, and being hungry a lot of times, not enough food to go around, and having to wear clothes where that's not even mine, where I got one pair of pants to last me a year, and one pair of shoes to last me a year. When I see people changing their clothes, and sometimes I got to wear the same outfit 2 and 3 times a week. Like, it's hard.
Kids can be pretty brutal.
Oh yeah,
terribly, especially in an environment where there's a lot of poverty. You get the kids who have a little more. They don't have to have a lot. They just have to have enough more so they can feel superior, and then they just want to go right at you.
Oh yeah. Well, one thing I remember is like, we were so poor that even in one of the poorest neighborhoods, not just in Brooklyn, New York, but in the whole New York City, we were known as the poor family. That's how poor we was. It's like you living in a group of people and everybody got 3 loaves of bread, and your group of people has one loaf of bread, so everyone that got 3 loaves of bread, even though they hungry, they not as hungry as you, because your group got one loaf of bread. You. So with that, going back to how I channeled that into football, my coach explained to me during that time, like a little after the 5th grade, when I started to, around the 5th grade, I started to tell myself, you gotta channel that anger somewhere else, because I had to, like, I told myself, it's gonna end up down the wrong road. So I, like, around the 5th grade, I started to mentally pull back where I'm in situations, but I started to be able to pull back.
I love this motion, like you're getting ready to throw that football.
Yeah, I know. I was thinking that also. Just natural, isn't it?
It never leaves. So it's like I'll be in a situation, it could be a situation where friends are going to do something illegal, something that I don't agree with. But I will be able to pull back in that situation and see it from the outside and look at myself and say, yo, just ask yourself, how will this situation affect you a year from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now? Really look at how that situation will affect you. So when I'll be in a lot of those situations, I'll be able to take a step back and say, this situation, this may be the root situation that if you go through with it, 5 years down the line, you may be in jail. 5 years down the line, you may be dead. So you got to really step back and look at it and say, is this for me? And now I'll be in those situations and I'll be able to, I started to be able to redo it. First, it started hard to be able to, that mental process. But after a while, it got to a point where I could be in that situation and I could see the roots of a negative situation happen. And then I'll pull out at the roots. Now, everyone around me won't understand. They'll be like, why you don't want to do this? We just go into this basketball court and play basketball. But I knew that the basketball court that they were going in may have been in an area that was really violent. Now, of course, they're just going to play basketball, but it's the particular area that they're going to play in. And I will look at it. You can
see the play developing.
I can see a player, so I will look at the.
I can see a break developing right here because we do need to take one, right, Monica?
Yes, we do. And we will be right back to speak some more with Captain.
It's 35 degrees here in Manchester, UK, and we're rocking out on Poetic 103.3 FM. Back to sports. In the championship game back in 2012, New York defeated New England by a score of 21-17. And in other news, we have Poetically Contagious with their new single, the smash hit Toss Him Aside.
I'ma move like a river with a smooth yet tight flow. Now check mommy walk, he's out in action, she talk. But that dude that she with, he just be playing a part. He be having his way, Denzel training a day. He be acting it out in every word that he say, manipulating the game. And track I'm on is the train. She tries to lift up his heart, he tries to push down her brain. Oxymoron is he, a wolf, sheep, pretty, a slithering snake. But an angel she sees, my step back from his mind. Start subtracting his time, understanding the clues and reading the signs. See that you two don't fit, you're emotionally sick. He's the cancer, I should be the one that you with. My Juliet, come here, you have nothing to fear. This Romeo won't die, just whisper in your ears.
I don't mean to pry, but he's not the kind of guy I see for you. Girl, you should give me a try. You should give me a try. Let go what's inside and give me the right way to you. I need you here in my life. Girl, you can toss him aside.
Sing like Deborah Jade if your voice is up to par. Be the best female singing, non-superstar. Just pure talent, not using fast cars yet. Everyone around wants to know who you are. So this dude hold your talent like a running check balance. You should set up surveillance, red-handed catch clearance. Have him moving on his way, don't postpone the stay. Stick around one more day, high scoring games he plays. He's a bandwagon jumper, start from the back fronter. Never close his mouth, always loud, gum bumper. About your heart he's twisting, gymnastic flipping. Jack the Ripper, why you coexisting? Need a man on his toes, treat you like a rose, respect glows so your heart knows. And decides to take a ride, maybe be a bride, so toss him aside.
I don't mean to pry, but he's not the kind of guy I see for you. Girl, you should give me a try. You should give me a try. Let go what's inside and give me the right. Don't wait till you. I need you here in my life. Girl, you can toss him aside. Baby, be with me. He's not the one you need. I can show you love that can last a lifetime filled with memories. He's not in love with you. What more I need to prove? Can you tell me what's still left for me to do? I don't mean to pry, but he's not the kind of guy I see for you. Girl, you should give me a try. You should give me a try. Let go what's inside and give me the right. Don't wait till you. I need you here in my life. Girl, you can toss him aside. I don't mean to pry, but he's not the kind of guy I see for you. Girl, you should give me a try. You should give me a try. Let go what's inside and give me the right. Don't wait till you. I need you here in my life. Girl, you can toss him aside.
Welcome back to Walking on the Weene Side. And today I am joined by our wonderful hostess with the mostest, Monica Brinkman, and our wonderful guest, El-Sharieff Kirkman, also known as Captain. Now, we were just talking about, hey, you know, that's actually, of course, Dr. Spock.
Yeah.
And since you obviously are a Star Trek fan,
Yeah.
do you know what that comes from? That gesture of Spock's great difficulty doing.
Well, you're doing it good. I gotta hold my fingers.
Like this, it's got two hands in theory.
Yeah, I know he's a Vulcan. So I don't know the.
Okay, I've got to keep you from. Leonard Nimoy was a very devout Jew, and he also was a Kohanim, which means one of the priestly caste in the Bible.
Oh,
and
I didn't know that.
At the end of the service in the Jewish temple, technically, the blessing is given not by a rabbi, but by one of the Kohanim. And they would hold the hands basically like that. It makes the letter that would be the letter that is the word shalom, which means peace.
Yeah.
And that's how Nimoy came up with that, which I didn't do very well. But he bragged a lot.
Yeah, Captain does it well.
So
I
just
didn't
thought I
know,
wrote
Ken,
that
a bit
in
of
for
truth.
entertainment value. So, Captain, position were you playing? I'm assuming you were a quarterback the way you got that, but
I started at quarterback, but my coaches thought differently. I gotta be honest, mate. I was up with the quarterback position, but I was one of the people that could throw the ball 40 or 50 yards as a little kid, but not the most accurate. So my coach put me on a few positions because I was probably I was always one of the most athletes and always one of the 2 or 3 fastest players at every level I played on football. Because I trained as a little kid. I trained as if I was in the NFL. And as a little kid, I tried to watch what they do and mimic it. So I played on offense. I played out, and on defense I played defensive end and outside linebacker. And on special teams I played kick returner.
wow. So you have speed.
Yeah.
Yeah. So along the way, you had at least one who really affected your life. That first coach in 5th grade. I guess you had more than one coach who in there.
So I had some coaches, a few really good coaches. But my 2 best, I would say, is the very first coach. It didn't happen at 5th grade. It was a little after that, but it's just that I developed the mindset When I did see that coach a few years later, around the 7th or 8th grade, my mind was already where I could take in the positive information that he was feeding me. Now, if it gave me the positive information before that, I wouldn't have took it. My mind had been developed at an accelerated point, 5th to 7th grade, where when I met coach and he told me what he told was, I have to channel and point all my energy towards one target and it go through that target. He said, don't that target, explode through that target. And whatever's in for you, if you got 10 things over here or 10 over here, and you got a thing over here, that's the area that you pointed. That's the target right there. And when you go after that target, I want you to hit that target. I want you to explode, and you use that in everything. You explode through that target. Now, the reason I said that coach played a critical role, not just when playing football, but in my life, I use that in everything still to this day. In my writing career, my personal life, and intimate relationship I have with any female dating at the time, good poetry, writing, whatever it is, I use that. I go out with writing. I like whatever's around me. I push mentally, and I explode. So with my writing, I give my all. Whether it's a poem, whether it's a song, whether I'm working on a novel like I am now, I put everything to that, and I block everything out at that moment, and I explode. So whatever he gave me at that time, I use the rest of my life. Now, my other favorite coach, that first coach, his name was Enzo. My other favorite coach, actually a really famous coach, and he actually coached the Buffalo Bills to a couple of championships in the 50s. His son coaches Alabama. Oh man, I wish I can remember his name.
Did you? Yeah, I know. It's because you're on air.
He coached Buffalo Bills. He coached O.J. Simpson. He's a real famous coach, and a lot of old football got him. And the first college that I went to was actually in SUNY Canton, and then later on I went to Binghamton University. When I went to SUNY Canton and I played for there, the first year I twisted my ankle pretty bad, and I got hurt like before the first game. But it was a really bad twist where I think it wasn't broke, but it was one of them really bad twists where it wasn't gonna hit quickly. So what he noticed that I did, that I kept practicing. What I did, kept practicing, is whether I wasn't on crutches, if I could push-ups, I would do push-ups. If I could do sit-ups, I would do sit-ups, and I just kept doing that. And now my mentality is doing whatever I can to get better when part of me is broken down. I always that. But this was the first person to point that out later on. What he did was, after first season, at the award ceremony in college, everybody's getting fees. Everybody that played getting all these trophies, and I'm sitting there because I the team. I got hurt. It was pretty bad, and it was only a few games left, and I got better. He asked me, he said, if you play now, it's only 2 or 3 games left. You've been out the whole season, but you back enough where you play now. It's up to you. Waste the whole year, like in the NCAA eligibility said. So we could just put you on that shirt and you could come back next season. So he put me as that red shirt. Okay, I understand what you mean. But after first season, doing what he told me, that was the biggest compliment I've ever received in my life, still to this day. Like, everybody's getting these trophies, and then after give out the biggest trophy to the MVP of the team, he said, I got to say something about a special player on the team now. And I had no idea who he was going to talk about. He said, this guy knows what it takes to be a winner. This guy is special. This guy has this in him, and he's go really far, not just in football, but in his life. There's something really special in this guy. When he's down, he has a spark in him that he finds a way to still go on and still move forward. And that guy is El-Sharieff. And I was just shocked. And all the team was shocked, and I was trying to hold back my tears, but my eyes got watery. I was like, but it hit a note to me because I wasn't expecting it.
No.
I'm thinking to myself, here's this coach that coached NFL Hall of Famers and now just coaching a college team because he's a lot older and he wanted to take it lighter. But he's seen something in me where I didn't play in one game that season because my injury was pretty bad.
Right.
But yet I kept practicing, doing something that I've always done my whole life up until that point. And this is the first person to actually point out something that I normally do as a gift. And I held on to that. Like, I know, like, he was like 70 or 80 at the time. He passed away like 10 years later. But if I ever get to meet his son that coaches the Alabama football team, they win a bunch of championships. So hopefully one day I can meet him and just shake his hand his father
Tell him
gift.
that story about his dad.
Wouldn't
Yeah,
that be wonderful?
So you obviously football was big, and it sounds like you were pretty gosh darn good.
yeah. I went on to play semi-pro football.
And then what?
The semi-pro led to okay. I'll try to get back to the writing and kind of speed it up some, but the way that I transferred, like I went from playing football to writing is since I was a little kid, I had a gift, a natural gift. One of the natural gifts was writing. One of the natural gifts was I was a natural athlete. I played basketball, football, baseball, but football was where my heart was. But they like the other coaches in the area that I was in, one of the things where coaches coach multiple teams during different seasons, they move on from basketball to football to baseball. So I would play those other sports because the coaches wanted me to play because I was athletic, but my heart was in football. But the reason how I transferred from football to writing later on is like I kept like during high school, like in college, I kept getting offered writing scholarships because I was winning competitions. But it was like writing came so easily to me as tying my shoe, but I never took it seriously. But even when I was getting offered writing scholarships to colleges in like Boston and Connecticut, I kept turning them down. And I'm like, this is just a hobby for me. I don't want to do this. I never took it
Trying to be a
seriously.
football player.
Yeah, my heart
Yeah,
was in
that
football.
was your love.
That was my love. So I just kept going with the football. But the moment that I told myself, like when I was a little kid, I told myself, if you ever stop playing football, the only way I told my friends this, I said, when I was a little kid, the only way they could ever pull me off a football field for me to stop, they would have to literally drag me off the field with some devastating injury for me to ever stop. And it kind of led up to that when I was at the first game, when I was playing a semi-pro team in Binghamton, New York. Here in Binghamton, the Dragons, the Boone County Dragons, playing like I was a starting outside linebacker. That first game, I ripped my hamstring pretty badly, like really bad. It's a year to heal.
What a thing
So
to
I knew
happen,
yeah, I knew at that moment that was that moment I said as a kid that they would have to drag me off the field. But when that happened, my heart, even though that love in my heart is probably shaped like a pigskin right now, like an NFL pigskin right now, I told myself, now you can put all your you could transfer that love or some of that love and that energy and put it into writing.
And that's what you're doing. Yeah, I was going to turn to your book right now. I have a copy too, folks. It's called Thoughts of a Beautiful Mind. And I'm going to read one of your poems.
Oh, good.
Okay. It's called Spirit of Lust, a Human Emotion. More than moaning, less than screaming, what I'm about to say may sound a bit extreme and different from your average work of art. And without further ado, I'll begin to start. So much passion, it needs its own stage as it rips off your clothes in pure sexual rage. It's tempted at any hour of the day. If you know what I'm talking about, then you know what I'm about to say. It can heighten in its physical form or begin to drip whenever it gets warm. As you feel the force of seduction coming down in your own pool of lust, you begin to drown, and you don't even know if your emotions you should trust, because it's hard to control that spirit of lust.
Wow, I like that. Yeah.
That's a pretty honest poem.
It is.
You know, and I was very struck by that particular one, but a few of your poems about the honesty that you bring. And again, we go back to that, your name, El-Sharieff means be honest.
Yeah.
Okay. So tell me, what is it about life that you are trying to say in your book, said you were writing a novel, in your music? What is it that you are trying to say to people? What are some of the messages you want to get across to them as honestly as you can? Because we aren't PG. We're an adult show.
Okay. I know this because it's so dear to me, but my message when I write poems, when I write philosophy, when I write songs and music, whether it's an upbeat song, a low-key song, when I'm working on this novel, when I'm working on short stories, I have one clear message, and that message is to inspire one. If more get inspired, they get inspired. But that message is inspire one.
Wow.
Because just one person, just inspire one. Like that. That's the message that goes through every piece of my art. Even when I played football, like when I played, even when I like didn't play, like say the times when like when what is it when like the organized professional like football with equipment, even when the season was down and I went to play flag football and like play in the flag football leagues. I remember this guy that I play with, really cool guy, and he told me something and I didn't like it. He always like when he wasn't on the field and I was on the field playing defense, I was looking to the sideline. It looked like he was seeing a ghost. And one time I just asked him, I'm like, you always got this weird look on your face. I kind of said it in a playful way. Whenever I'm on the field, he's like watching you was like watching a religious experience. And I laughed. He was like, you got this. You play with such raw passion, like nothing else matters but that play right there when you play. Like you just put all your energy into that one play. Like after that you play, he said you play as if right after that play the world's gonna end. He's like, that's the way you play. Like right after that play, the world's over. That's how much energy you put into that play. And I'm like, wow.
Well, you inspired him.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Ken, I think we need to take another break and we'll
Okay,
be
let's
right
do that.
back.
Have you ever been too afraid to ask a girl out that you were attracted to? Or just not know what to say or what to do on your first date? Well, I'ma help you out with that. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the lesson. You're sweating with chills cause you know it's at stake. You need to calm your nerves, it's only the first date. Go out and enjoy it like a movie first take. You shine like a star at a party birthday. Man, you're sweating with chills cause you know it's at stake. You need to calm your nerves, it's only the first date. Go out and enjoy it like a movie first take. You shine like a star at a party birthday. Lesson one, we have begun. Take a chance, have some fun. Your thoughts cloudy with no sun. Stand strong, do not run. Always pay attention, think she says what she mentions, cause you know intuitions can be reading your ambitions. Hear what she be saying, don't let your walk go straying with your thoughts. Simply playing, on the bed, simply laying. Birthday shoot with no clothes, or on a stripper pole, let her sex unfold. Those thoughts too bold, those selfish thoughts are a clown. She will read what's on your mind, she will see it like a sign. Then there's no more spending time, so put her first in front of you. Not what you say, but what you do. Show respect, you get it too. All these words I say are true now. If she wants you, you will know. Take it swipe, take it flow. You're not the average Joe with no paper or no dough. You're a ladies man, I say I think I can. Get her when he cause I'm doing it. You're sweating with chills cause you know it's at stake. You need to calm your nerves, it's only the first date. Go out and enjoy it like a movie first take. You shine like a star at a party birthday, man. Sweating with chills cause you know it's at stake. You need to calm your nerves, it's only the first date. Go out and enjoy it like a movie first take. You shine like a star at a party birthday, man. Listen to this, what you do. Come alone, not with your crew. Say her name, don't call her boo. She not your girlfriend yet. True. Not early, being on time, cause coming late is a crime. Cause females like to shine and be treated like they're fine. Special, elegant, like roses, 10 gems, with beauty, out and in, and sexy. More than just a girl on the side. A beat up hoopty ride, an old trailer double ride. Like none on the side, I'm moving on. Compliment, overfood, order dinner, you're playing games, she be the winner. Trouble start, you must offend her. And let her check your wealth. From how you be yourself, show her strong mental health, like a Bible on the shelf. You pass information, I can tell by maturation. You know the situation, what a beautiful creation. I think you got her, go get her. Not smaller, you're big, I see your swag on the trigger. This lesson's over, go figure. Woo!
Get your mind right, been at it all night. Already here, let the moment now take flight. Contemplating whether or not to stay in. Feel your heart beating fast, stay focused. Keep it casual, be yourself. Enjoy the time spent between you and her. Before the night ends, the moment of pure bliss. Take her by the hand and reach in for that first kiss.
Chills, cause you
stay.
You're so famous, you're so hot, you're so gorgeous, forgive me not.
I think I'm gonna burn my boats tonight. I'm gonna take my chances. I wanna turn my fears into the light. Let go of my defenses.
It was an ordinary day, not like the way it is today. I would regularly say, celebrate. I can't be your hero, it isn't in me. I can't win your fight. Baby, baby, don't see the fading signs of the burned out lights above the crowd. All I want is to give you something better. Little lady, don't see it's all a game. Living life just to beat circumstance. I wanna show you we got something better, baby.
Back, folks, to Walking on the Weene Side. And, you know, we were just talking about this playing it, everything you do, doing it as if the world is going to end. And I'm reminded of a story of a philosophy professor who his student once, he liked to play basketball, pick up basketball games. And this was back during my youth when we were all kind of expecting Russia to rain atom bombs on us, and we were going to rain them on Russia. Of course, you're too young to remember that, but I'm not.
Yeah, like if we hid under our seats, it would protect us.
Yeah, right. You cover your, I used to say the whole idea was to get you down so you could kiss your ass goodbye. But anyway, we and this was we were outside of Boston, right in, within spitting distance of MIT and Harvard and stuff. So we knew that if any place was going to be bombed, we were going to get it.
Yeah.
And so the story went around about this particular philosophy professor who loved to play basketball. And they said to him, "Professor, what would you do?" They were out on the court, and one of the students said, "What would you do if right now you heard the siren go off that the bombs were coming?" And he looked at him and smiled and said, "I'd go in for a layup." So I hear that same kind of approach to your life, that you're going to stay on course. You are not going to get distracted. And I think that's a wonderful message. I was wondering, do you coach or teach others, or how do you pass your message on besides for your writing? Are you coaching any gay teams or inspiring other people in any way?
It's mainly through my art forms. I take, for instance, like, say my first song that I've ever written, Inspired into Stardom. Like the very first verse is the very first, like, say, rap verse that I wrote. It says, it's like a poem, but it's also like a rap on the beat. It's like, I've been mentally slaughtered, emotionally deported. You say psychologist, but I simply can't afford it. So I open up my mind and begin to explore it, because it's locked deep inside. I simply can't ignore it. Will this massacred mind stand the test of time? Will I understand the jewels and read all the signs? Will I find the right road and walk the right line? Will you look up in the sky and watch the stars shine? So it's like, it's through my writing and seeing my path through my writing, through my music, through the arts that I do, where people could see that this guy started from way, way, way down and overcame unthinkable nightmares and obstacles, and not only made it to the other side, but made it with a smile, made it with some joy still in my heart. Because I know people that made it out, but they're the most angry
Yeah.
SOBs, so to speak. But even as a kid, one thing that I knew, well, actually two things that I knew I had to protect was my creativity and my childlike imagination. For some, like, no one told me to do it. Maybe it was me foreseeing like later on, but I knew as a kid, something inside me say, whatever you do, protect those with all your heart. Protect your childlike imagination and protect that creativity. Do not sacrifice those two things for anyone. Keep those in your heart, keep those in your soul, and drive through life with them. But no matter what you go through, no matter what physical pain that's inflicted upon you, mental, psychological, emotional, spiritual, do not sacrifice your creativity and do not sacrifice your imagination. So,
Because the truth is, and I'm not saying that people don't have a reason to be hard when they go through such difficult times, but they're only harming themselves at that point. They're not hurting anybody else, really.
exactly, yes. I
If they
100%.
hold on to that, yeah, it's not doing anything but hurting them.
Well, it's a little more than that though too, because you perform rap, and
Yeah.
so much rap music is so angry and negative.
Yeah, sure.
You're offering people something more. You're saying there is a goal, there is a possibility, there is a purpose. And I was struck by another one of your poems. I just thought I'd read this
Oh,
one.
yeah, good. I can't wait.
And it's the chapter of your book again called Thoughts of a Beautiful Mind. And it's the chapter 3, which is titled Conscience. And its title is The Reason I Write Poetry.
Aw.
Close my mind and open my heart, pick up a pen and begin to start expressing my soul from the past and present, giving you just a touch which feels like heaven of the beauty that I possess, which I tend to hide, putting up a wall because I'm afraid to cry. But through this poetry, I'm able to be what's locked deep inside, and that special part of me. And that obviously is your childhood quality, that childish.
Oh, that was perfect. Yeah. Beautiful.
Yeah. So what do you want the future to be? Where is that? Okay, you get your arm back, you're going to throw that pass. And I know you told us you weren't the most accurate, but for this exercise, you have the most accurate arm possible.
That's right.
Where are you aiming that throw? What do you want to accomplish?
It goes back to that one. This is that inspire one. I can feel that ingrained in my soul. Like when everyone, I feel like everyone has a purpose, and I know with me, my purpose, I can feel it in my soul. Like no one can tell me it, no one can beat it out of me. My purpose is to inspire one person. I don't know if I'm gonna ever meet that person. Maybe I've met him already, but my goal is to inspire one person. So I live each day like it's my last, like because I know like it's more for me to do. Like no matter what I accomplish, like if it's someone else around me that's rooting for me, that helped me out, cool. But if it's people around me and they try to beat me down, no matter, I got hit in so many hits that it would take 100-hour straight interview to get even 10% of it out. So it's like even though when those people was hitting me so hard and constantly, because I've been knocked down so many times, and I get back up, and they realize no matter how hard they hit me, the energy didn't go away, the focus didn't go away. And they don't realize I was never competing with them. Now, if I was competing with them and they hit me like that, then I would say, hey, that person that I'm competing with just knocked me down. But the fact that the only person I've ever been competing with is the one that stares back at me in the mirror, telling that person, whatever you do today, I'm gonna do better than you tomorrow. Whatever you do today, I'm gonna do better than you tomorrow. So only one I'm always fighting to overcome is yesterday's version of me. So when I build up these strengths and these goals, they're ingrinding me so deeply that when someone knocked me down or beat me down, I got that inner strength from knowing what I overcame by overcoming my failures yesterday, turning those negatives into positive yesterday. So even in my lowest moments, it's like I feel this glowing energy inside me, like boom, 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 boom. Even when everyone around me is looking at me, beat me down, that energy is inside of me. From the outside looking in, people that don't like me or beat me down, whoever they may be, may say, "We got him, he's down." And then next thing they know,
you're back up again.
I can imagine you, Captain, staring at yourself in the mirror in the morning and saying to yourself, "Yes, I can." And I think, Monica and I, we always are trying to think of a nice way to name the show, the interview. And Monica, I think our name for this show is Yes, You Can.
Yes.
What do you think?
Oh, I think that's perfect because you are such an inspiration, and I don't think you know how many people's lives you touch. I know you only want to inspire one, but I think you inspire hundreds, if not thousands, just through your music alone and the lyrics, just through your actions. And that was one of the reasons that Ken and I wanted you to come on today, to show people that, you're responsible for your life and how it goes. And yes, some people have the hardest of lives. But then there's other people that you think are living in the lap of luxury, and they have terrible things happen. They might not have love in their life. They might have people that get killed. It's just, it's never what it looks like. And I think you give people hope. Because if you could do that, certainly they could do that.
Now,
so what are you? Oh, go ahead, Ken.
I want to just kind of end this with just another one of Captain's poems.
Oh, good.
It's called Thankful Part 1, Staying True, because I think it really captures something of this fine young man that we've been talking with today. I'm thankful for the moments we spent clowning around. I'm thankful for the moments we spent running around town. I'm thankful for the conversations we had that made our bond grow. I'm thankful for the times we were there for each other that made our trust show. I'm thankful for the times we spent just having pure fun. I'm thankful for the fact that together we lost and together we won. I'm thankful for the fact that I have true friends. I'm thankful for the fact that we will be close from now until the end.
Aww.
And I just wanted to, as I get to know you, interact with you here on the show, look at your poetry, look at your, listen to your music. One of the things I find about you, is that you have a very pure heart.
Thank you.
And for that, I am so glad that you were able to join us today walking on the Weene side.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Truly good.
Can you show us your cover of the book for the people? We got two of them.
Yep.
Thoughts of a Beautiful Mind. That's just wonderful. And can people get that at Amazon or?
Oh yeah, they can get it at Amazon.com, and they can get it at any Barnes and Nobles in the country. They can walk into Barnes and Nobles; is available there as well. Like
Great.
I made it into the Barnes and Nobles, which was one of my proudest moments.
Great.
That's wonderful. Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
And so, folks, we have been talking with El-Sharieff Captain Kirkman.
Yes.
And we have been walking on the Weene side. Have a great week.
Take care, all. Bye-bye.
Stand up now, stand I've been mentally slaughtered, emotionally deported. You say psychologist, but I simply can't afford it. So I open up my mind and begin to explore it. Cause it's locked deep inside, I simply can't ignore it. Will its massacre mind stand the test of time? Will I understand the jewels and read all the signs? Will I find the right road and walk the right line? Will you look up in the sky and watch the stars shine?
One drop of love was left in my soul. It was the love of passion, passion to be a star. Saw that passion and took hold. Tears walked all over my face. They only walks out whenever I'm in pain. Inspired into stardom as I find my pain. Inspired into stardom. Tomorrow's sunshine, today's rain. Inspired into stardom as I find my pain. Inspired into stardom. Tomorrow's sunshine, today's rain. The pain is deep. I'm thinking of tomorrow's success while living in today's failure. Oh yeah. And I crawl to walk, I walk to run, I run to fly, I fly to be, I fly to see, I fly for the star waiting to get out of me. Oh, yet I continue to fall when all I see is tears, and they only walks out whenever I'm in pain. Inspired into stardom as I find my fame. Inspired into stardom. Tomorrow's sunshine, today's rain. Inspired into stardom as I find my pain. Inspired into stardom. Tomorrow's sunshine, today's rain. And now my voice is passion. This passion you hear, this passion you love, because I'm inspired into stardom right here.
I have the passion, my soul is not done. I have the passion, my soul has just begun. To lift its wings, I am going to fly. To lift its wings, I will not die. To lift its wings, cause I'm just starting. To lift its wings, cause I'm born into stardom.